Hi everyone, and welcome to OP Digital Blueprint. We're surrounded by celebrities today, so we've got the very sexy the very sexy Jeanne and Red.
That's more like it.
Yeah. Welcome to everybody, and what we're going to talk about today, I'm sure Red will carry on and start as he usually does, and we will continue and fill in as time goes on. So, Red, over to you, my friend.
Thanks very much, Andy. Good to see you, Jeanne, as well. Always love being here on a Tuesday. Good time for me as well. Let's just bring up to date so far with what we know about OnPassive. Our CEO is around. It's in correspondence with Marty and Chris. He's also said that we are getting there now. Very excited, very upbeat, and he is pretty much over the moon with what he has got and can't wait to show it to us all. But there is just a few more things that need to be tidied up, legal bits and pieces, etc. But certainly shortly, I really get the feeling that we will hear or see from him. I'm not going to say next few days or whatever, but shortly it is for sure. I do know that the new time that Marty and Chris has got at 7 p.m. Eastern works for Ash very well. So don't be surprised if we don't see him popping onto their show. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys today about was something that Minnow Miller, and I hope you're feeling a lot better, by the way, Minnow, posted earlier on today. And it really is, for me, what OnPassive is doing for so many people. Obviously, we know that OnPassive is going to be of huge benefit to all of us, financially, time freedom, etc., and have that business that we've always wanted and desired as far as the internet is concerned. But there's a lot more to OnPassive than that. And she wrote a lovely post about bridging the gap. And this is really what, for me, OnPassive has helped in so many areas. And we'll talk about this a bit more as well. But certainly it's helped individuals acquire new skills and new knowledge that they really didn't have before they came into the OnPassive community and family. And it can actually help them transform their lives. We're not just giving resources to people to do their online business. We're actually creating pathways for people to stand on their own 2 feet and elevate their potential and pursue opportunities and give them the confidence and also the dignity for them to be able to do it. Now, this is one side that many of us didn't expect would happen to us in OnPassive. I certainly know from my point of view how much I've developed, evolved, gained confidence, learned new skills because of OnPassive. A lot of that is my own choice by throwing myself 100% behind the OnPassive train, I suppose, of where I want to take my online business. And through all of that, I've learnt on the go. A very famous saying from our very own English Richard Branson was, if you're offered an opportunity and you don't quite know how to do it, say yes and then learn how you go. That's pretty much what I did with OnPassive. I said yes, not knowing too much about it, and learnt and felt my way. This really is what OnPassive has given so many of us, is new skill sect. I'm sure the two that are on the screen now never envisaged they would be doing the amount of lives, be in front of a camera as much as they are, answering the emails, messages, problem solving, etc. They didn't think that, I'm sure, this would be part of the OnPassive gig, I suppose. But here we are, very thankful that we have now another good string to our social media bow. It's going to help us in all sorts of ways that we didn't think it would help moving forward with OnPassive. We've gained the knowledge base of how to edit, how to make lives or even recorded stuff. We know how to mix. We know how to find information and cut it into our videos, etc. Making templates, backgrounds, all sorts of new skills that we would not have had if we had joined probably another company that was not called OnPassive. So why am I talking about this here with Andy and Jeanne and the rest of you? Because I think that we need to acknowledge that, especially with OnPassive, we really are given all those tools to help us develop not only an online business, but also develop ourselves. And part of that is going to be some of the products and services. We already know about Ocademy, one of the products that's going to be coming our way. This is going to help so many people to learn new skills because of the qualifications that they're going to get through Ocademy and the new skills that they're going to learn. But apart from that, already so many of us have learned new things that we didn't think we would end up doing. You only have to look at the amount of people now that are front and center in front of a screen, going about their daily OnPassive wares without a care in the world. When you first start doing this, you certainly criticize yourself, don't like listening to yourself, don't like looking at yourself, all these sort of things. And as they say, practice makes perfect, and you end up being a much more fluid person on screen, which hopefully we all come across in that manner. These are skill sets that haven't been, we haven't learned from college or university. We haven't done any courses. These have all been working on the job, learning as we go. And it really has given us an extra string to our bow. These are really hidden gems, in my opinion, within the OnPassive business that none of us thought that we would gain because we are part of it. I would say majority of us, 99.9%, when we looked at OnPassive, we were looking at it for one thing and one thing only, and that was to gain extra income for the benefit of ourselves individually, friends, family, and people around us. That's what we looked at OnPassive for, that residual income that is so elusive in the online space. We delved into OnPassive, we lapped it up as the drug was given to us by our CEO, Ash Mufareh. We thrived on it, we grew within it, and here we are now, long it is down the line, learning new things as we go, but also having the confidence that we are near the end game now. Now, again, we can talk about that if you guys want to as well. But for me, having this extra skill set that I never knew I would be having because of OnPassive really is an extra plus. Back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Red. Great start to what we've got to talk about today. There's lots of things I'd like to discuss today, but I'm sure Jeanne has a few things that she'd like to cover based on what Red has said. So I'm going to pass it across to Jeanne initially. Over to you, Sweetheart.
Well, thank you, Andy, and thank you, Red. Oh my gosh. I mean, when people think about, things moving forward in the last several years, and they look at it as only going to the end goal of the ecosystem rocking and rolling, they are totally missing the value that unbelievable, extraordinary education that we have had over the past several years. Oh my God. I mean, beyond even the just computer savvy, technology, all about AI, all about the different cultures of the world, of people that have specialties and have come on to meetings and spoken about their particular specialty. When people have talked about their dreams and talked about their plans, and then that opened up something in us, something we hadn't even imagined. So it's like a crash course in humanitarianism, in setting up projects, and then just the building of confidence, like Red said, and just given the time to think about how we want to move in this space, because we'll have all of the basically be unlimited in how we want to take this forward. And so we've been given this opportunity, like say even with Julie Pierre's meetings on Wednesday nights, she's brought in speakers that are experts in financial planning. You know, all of these things, they're all going to educate the way we move forward. And it's just like, where else could you find that? And could that have happened if we'd launched in 6 months? We would not have had the opportunity to meet all these people with their expertise, to pick up all this technical savvy, you know. So it's literally everything has worked perfectly for us to be the best that we can be when the doors open and we move forward. We would not have been able to handle or even have the plans in place if this had gone, you know, say 2 years ago. So I consider all of this time as an utter blessing. And we're still doing it. Like today, we're talking about things. Maybe somebody listening is going to get some ideas and education. Somebody might have a guest speaker on another meeting, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." So this time is not idle. It's not like us just waiting for the other shoe to drop. It is precious time where we can educate ourselves and learn more, go on to the OnPassive website, re-educate ourselves on these products and all of it. It's just such a gift to have this large of a family and all of the different expertises. And if we're smart, we're paying attention and listening and absorbing it. That's all I have right now. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Jeanne. I think this community that we have needs to be focused upon a little bit more, because if you're on your own, it makes things difficult, because you have to go through this spider's web of understanding, of learning. Whereas with the community that we have, and we have over 1.4 million early birds. Now, unfortunately, the vast majority of those 1.4 million are not in the same space that we are. But there is a very large community of people that are on the same wavelength that we are. And that is amazing on its own, because, and I like to give you an example here because I always found this amusing. You know, we used to go down the golf club on a Friday night, and we'd have 30 or 40 people up at the golf club, and at the end of the day, the end of the evening, you'd have all the positive ones up one end and all the negative ones up the other end of the bar. Now, this is because people have and are connected to the same mindset as many others. And we found this with the community that we have with OnPassive. And I love it because you meet people that are just like you, that have the same positivity, the same expectations, the same drive that you don't come across day to day. And we've all got friends, let's face it, we all have an awful lot of friends. I'm blessed to have an awful lot of acquaintances, and they are acquaintances because they don't think or feel the same way we do. Now, that's not a negative thing, that's a positive thing, because you can weed out the wheat from the chaff, as it were. Not saying, again, I wanted to do that, because there's an awful lot of people that I have an awful lot of time for and respect for. But we as a family have come together over the course of the last 4 years, and with a common goal, a common focus based on someone we don't know. Let's face it, none of us have met him. Well, very few people have met him. I know I haven't, but I want to, because all I had to do was listen to what was being said by this man, and I can resonate totally with what's being said. And now you go, he's on the same mindset as me. I want to spend time with this man, as we have with all of these other people that we've come across over the course of the last 4 years, 4 or 5, and in Red's case, he's an old boy, 6 years. And we won't go any further than that. But the fact is that we all have this belief, this common belief and understanding based on what we know. That's the key here, what we know, because we've seen it already. And we know that there's things that have gone on in the past that have created issues for our group, our company, our CEO, but that hasn't swayed or stopped him. And that's why we, as a community, follow this man beyond everything else, because we know he will not give up. So therefore, why do we? I'm certainly not giving up. This, for me, is the most exciting thing. I know it's sad to say, this is probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened in my life. Okay, I'm a saddo. No, there's lots of things that have gone on over the years, but this really excites me because I know where this is going in the future and what could actually happen in the future. That excites the hell out of me. I'm sure you have something else to say, Red, so please let us hear what you have to say.
Yeah, obviously, always got something to say, that's for sure. It's interesting, isn't it, that, we're talking about how people grow and if they want to, obviously, of course. But nobody has given us more insights to how to do this than our CEO, Ash Mufareh. If you remember back to some of the webinars that he's done that went on for a few hours, he always brought learning to the table, didn't he, in one way, shape or form. He told his stories of how he's been involved before with other businesses and building funnels and basically laying it all out for them to help them to build their businesses, etc. And he's always taught us things from his own knowledge base. I know because myself, Marty, and Mike Ellis and Dan Street, Peter Rogers as well, who's on here, we're involved with another business before OnPassive, and that's exactly what it was all about. It was about, we paid monthly fees to be taught how to do YouTube, taught how to present ourselves, be taught how to learn and find things and keywords, meta tags, all these sort of things we were taught to do. And the bottom line was that myself and Peter felt that we weren't getting anywhere with it. We weren't growing. We weren't learning, even though we were paying this guy to teach us. Along comes OnPassive, along comes our CEO. Guess what? We got it all for nothing. We learned 10 times more from this guy than we ever did paying somebody else. And why was he divulging his secret formulas to us? Why was he letting us know? Because he wants us all to succeed. And that is the beauty here, that we've got such a special CEO who wants us all to win. No shadow about it. He's not interested in himself making loads of money. He doesn't want to be the richest man on the planet. He doesn't want to be another Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or anybody else like this. He wants for us to be successful in our own right. And how do you become successful online? you learn, you develop, you find your niche, you decide on how visual you want to be, how front and center. All these sort of things is really up to you. He has given us so many tools, so much knowledge. He's taught us in so many ways that a lot of people actually didn't even realize. A lot of people were said to me, why does he go on for such a long time on these webinars? That's because you're not actually listening to what this guy has got to say. Yes, he wants to spend time with his family. We are his online family. We is part of his community. He wants to hang out with us. We are his social side as well as his business side. But above more than anything else, he wants to give us as much as he possibly can to win online. That means not only the products, not only the platform, not only the business, but also the finer finesse parts of online business, the knowledge that you can only gain by successive kickbacks, that you try something, it doesn't work, you try something, it doesn't work, you try something and that one works. He's given us so many pointers into what does work that we don't have to keep on going through the ones that don't work. And all of this knowledge is absolute power as far as being online in business is concerned. Why? Because we've got an edge already that's taught to us by our CEO and many other leaders as well, by the way, likes of Michael Williams, etc., and Mike Ellis, all give us a whole new insight as long as we are listening. And that is the key. If you listen, you've got a good chance of learning. But the trouble is, so many people are focusing on keywords they want to hear, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting for those keywords, that all of the other verbal language that they're listening to is just background noise. It's only waving over them. It's not sinking in. And this is why I always recommend to people, go back, listen to Ash again. And you're on passive is a perfect example. Whenever our CEO is on live, she does what I do. Listen to it 2 or 3 times so that it really sinks in, so that you can really make a good grasp of what he is trying to say. Is he talking riddles sometimes? Yes, he does. But when you analyze and break it down, there's an awful lot of good information there that you can use for your benefit in your online business. And these are the things that I am so grateful for because of OnPassive, because in my growth and development over the last few years that I've had within it, that I would never have been able to do outside it. Like I said, I used to pay somebody, me and Pete and Marty, Dan Street, Mike Ellis, and a couple of other people as well who are part of OnPassive now. We're all with this one guy. And he was going to teach us how to do this, how to do that, and all the rest of it. Guess what? I am miles down the line. He said, when you get to 2,000 subscribers on your YouTube, then you are successful. I got 54,000 now. So we are way down that line. And did I learn it from that guy? No, I didn't. I learned it from our CEO, Ash Mufareh. And that is the difference. Free, free, free. He just wants to give, give, give. Back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Red. I love that because it's so powerful. What I believe is that the community that we have is the power. Because if you're trying to do something, you speak to the community will give you the answers. Now, when this business bites back up again, all of these people, if they have a problem, they go to the community will help them, because we're all here to help each other succeed. And I have to say, I've never come across this before. It's not something that is a regular system or a regular situation, because most people are in it for themselves. I've been in financial services for nearly 40 years, and no one wants to help you because they're all about, thank you very much, this is for me, I'm going to do this bit, and it's all about me, 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 me. Whereas we have a community here that says, actually, do you know what? I'm happy to help you, because it's not going to affect my business if I do or don't, but we all grow together and the business grows, and we're all interested in growing the business. So, Jeanne, what are your thoughts? What would you like to add?
Well, I absolutely love what you both just said. I mean, everything everything about this company has been about lifting humanity in every possible way, whether it's a business tool that's going to lift your business, which then lifts your economics and then helps your family, and on, or it is educationally, or giving you some kind of skill that breaks you out of your shell and you grow. But even OBless is not about giving out money. It's about lifting people into self-sufficiency, teaching them how to fish, bringing people up, leveling the playing field, and all of those kinds of things. And those are just like it's priceless. You can't pay for it. And I, like you, I've paid people for training, and then I sit in a webinar with Ash Mufareh and I'm like, oh my God, like this is absolute gold. And people that can't see it, I feel badly for them, because they're just missing out. And life is moving fast, and we've been doing this for years and years and years. So the hours of webinars now, I don't know if it's humanly possible for people to go back and take the time to catch up on everything they missed. It's like, that ship has sailed, maybe in little pieces. If someone is sharing a snippet, you might be able to catch it. But, in this case, it's a bit of, snooze, you lose. And the people that have been paying attention to this man, who is just extraordinary on every level, and paid attention to him. And the whole thing about, Andy, you're talking about this community. It absolutely is the power. It's the gas in the engine. It's the way that we're going to change the world, is by all the people going out and doing their thing, right? We talk about AI with heart. When we first joined and we hear that term, it sounds warm and fuzzy and all of that. And you talk about, this is built from scratch, built with love. And again, people that don't know us and know this community, they can't possibly comprehend the truth of that, the absolute truth of love between human beings. Not a romantic love, but like just a deep, abiding compassion and love for humans, for our fellow humans. And that has now spread like this beautiful glue, or a flexible glue, I'll say, not a hard, rigid one, but a flexible glue that is holding us together. So like Andy, when you said, if somebody needs anything, whether it's they have a question about something, or they have an illness in their family, or they have something going on, they need information, all they need to do is sort of tell a friend, and that friend will ask a friend, and I know somebody, and boom, in a matter of minutes, we can solve everything that's going on in our lives, and that's going to ripple out into the world. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful thing what Ash has created, and enough people paid attention to him so that it took hold. It wasn't just one man with a hopeful heart, with a dream and a vision. It was caught by enough people early on. And Red, I have you to thank for that. All the really early pioneers there from the very, very beginning, that never gave up and never lost their faith. And I mean, it's a debt we cannot repay. And I'm so grateful for that. That's all I wanted to say on that. I have something to share later if it jibes in with the topic.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will, Jeanne. Do you know what? One thing I will say is, I actually feel really sorry for those that are coming that haven't shared the journey that we have experienced, because there are going to be guys that just come on and they start making money from day one, which is going to be great. Don't get me wrong, we have the opportunity with this company to do exactly that, and but to experience what we've experienced over the last 4, 5, 6 years is for me is an experience I am grateful for in a very big way, because we've met so many people, all these new guys that are going to come on board, that it's just, I'm on my own. It's not part of a community. We're not going to have the same feelings and obligations perhaps, or connections that we've got right now, that we've built up over the course of the last 2, 3, 4, 5, and as long as Red's been here 6 years. So that is a shame. That is a real shame. I get contacted on a regular basis now by a number of people that go, what's going on? What's going on? And I think that's a shame as well, because they're just not connected to where we are. And you kind of sit there and look at the phone and go, oh, not another one. But that's the way of the world. Now, as I said, I love the community. I love the fact that we have a core group of people that have the same mindset, the same feelings, and are all happy to help. But believe me, people, when this thing starts to go, I'm going to concentrate on my business, as I'm sure Red will, and any stupid questions are just not going to get answered. Where are we? What's happening? Because it's your business. It's something you need to concentrate on. Red, over to you. I'm sure you have some final thoughts you'd like to share.
Yeah, I got a final thoughts. I mean, you're absolutely right. When things start going, I will be pulling out all the stops to leverage every single ounce that I possibly can with my knowledge base and the company to make my online OnPassive business a huge success. Am I going to double back round and help people? You're absolutely right. Why? Andy mentioned this, the help to give to other people. There's not many other companies that do like helping other people succeed, is there? Really, they feel threatened by it. They don't like the possibility of somebody maybe earning more money than them, being more successful than them. It's a bit of the old macho scenario. They just don't like it. Whereas, guess what? In OnPassive, we got that one covered as well, haven't we? Because the more that you help somebody who's within your organization to succeed, even if they are more financially successful than you are, you're going to benefit in one way, shape, or form. You are still going to benefit. And that is a beauty of this business, is that it's a level playing field for everybody. You can be as successful as you want to, but also the more that you help somebody else succeed, the more it's going to benefit you as well. And if you help as many of those people as possible to succeed within your organization, then you are going to benefit a little bit more. It's plain and simple. They might have more sales than you, but you are probably going to get maybe more bonuses, if that's what the word's going to be called. I don't know, for organizational sales volumes, etc. Those are still all going to be in place down the line at some point. And this is what's beautiful about this business, is that it takes away this need to maybe derail other people because you feel threatened by them. I personally hope loads of people in my organization overtake me financially, in all honesty, because I know that it's going to benefit me in some way, shape, or form. And that for me is a beautiful thing. If I have somebody in my organization who hits the jackpot as far as their sales technique is concerned, with whatever product it might be within OnPassive, and they absolutely fly with it, then absolutely good luck to them. That's what I want to see. I want to see people be successful. Ash Mufara certainly wants to see people being successful, so why shouldn't I? And if they happen to be in my organization, I'm going to help them as much as I possibly can to succeed even more, because I know that in one way, shape or form, it's going to benefit my organization. And that is a beautiful thing. The more you help somebody else succeed, the more you succeed as well. I'll leave it at that now, Andy.
Red, that is phenomenal, and I agree totally. Every single person has a goal that they wish to achieve. Let's say, for argument's sake, that goal was 10,000 a month, dollars, sterling, Zim dollars. It doesn't matter. The fact is that you have this goal of 10,000 every month. Once you've achieved that goal, the bad news is it's not going to stop there. It will just continue to grow. But I love this bit. I want people that come on board, that hopefully I encourage to come on board, actually earn more than I do. Now, I have a big goal. Believe me, I have a big goal. So if anyone achieves more than I do, good luck to them. Absolutely good luck to them. But the point being that the community is here to help. So if somebody does get to that level, they share the information out with others so that others can achieve the same level if that's what they want to do. Not everybody is the same, and not everybody has the same goal, and not everybody wants to be a billionaire. I came across when we owned several of the international funds of our own, we came across a guy that sold a student accommodation fund, and he sold it for about 3 million. And within the next 2 years, the company that had bought it had taken the value of that fund to a value of 100 million. And we said to him, why did you sell it so early? And he said to us, because I only have 3 million worries, not 100 million worries. Everybody is different. Everybody wants a different level, a different return, a different result. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that as a community, we're here to help each other. If your goal is to achieve 1 million a month, okay, I'll do my best to get you there because that'll help me. but you know, my goal may not be that high. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the community is here. The community survives and thrives because we help each other. I'm not interested in some guy walking across the stage with a big check in his hand, because next month it will be with a different company doing the same thing, because he'll just simply take his group from one to another. I'm not interested in that. Yeah, that's not what we're here for. We're here to help each other. So, Jeanne, any final comments?
Yes. I'm not going to bring up the other topic. That's a whole other thing. So I'm just going to continue on with this, because when I joined OnPassive, it was the way that people helped each other that made me know I was in the right place. I was not looking for a competitive business on, that just made me cringe. If it had become that, I would have left. But because it was this very loving, very real, not woo-woo, but real, like people helping one another, helping people migrate, helping people set up accounts, all of this kind of thing. I just knew I was in the right place. And I'm also one, I never had any kind of, dreams for a lot of money, just for a sort of a level of comfort and being able to help when I felt compelled to help, which is a lot of the time, right? So I wanted to have the means to be able to do it. And now, knowing what I do about this company and the way that it functions and the way the community helps, and the entire structure of the company is about lifting people, I know that if and when the apples start falling, and overflowing the baskets, and I just, and it becomes far beyond my dreams, I know that there will be mechanisms in place within the ecosystem that I can make, if it's a little too much for me, I can make it go in different directions, right? We can send it off to OBless. We can send it off to people who we are assisting. You know, we'll be able to do so many different things so that I don't need to be overwhelmed with, say, a monthly amount or a yearly amount that is, you know, more than my mind can handle at that time. Right. So we're all growing. We're all used to a certain amount. And, you know, it's going to take some time maybe to adjust to, I feel, you know, it's funny. I thought that I was going to be more nervous about an influx of money through a sales-based business, but I'm just so at peace with the whole thing because of the community, Andy, and because of the structure and the friends that we've made. Like Red, I feel like we are so set. We are so okay. And it just is such a great feeling. So the number doesn't matter. Someone could put $1 trillion in my bank account and I'd be like, okay, what are we going to do with this today? It would not faze me. But it took time for my mind to get there. It really did. And I think this time has been a blessing for all of us to get our heads in the right place and to not be like overwhelmed by it, because we've all been talking about things. You know, Marty and Chris are talking numbers. Andy, you're talking numbers. Everybody's, you know, it just is sort of like, okay, it's just energy that we are going to use to help this world. And it's taken all of those fears away, at least for me. And I know it's done it for other people too. So, and we have Ash Mufara to thank for that. Because one of the biggest ones is that he's a good and loving man. And a lot of people's biggest fear about money is that only arrogant, boastful, stingy people are rich. And that is one of the biggest things that keeps people away from when they self-sabotage, especially people like myself, artists. You know, we don't want to be that person, but that's it. It's an illusion. That is not a reality. And Ash Mufara is a walking example of a good and loving, very wealthy, well-off man who wants to make a difference in the world. So that he is our example to follow. We know it exists. He exists. And that is just, for me, that's all I needed to see that it was real. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Jeanne. That is an interesting point, actually, and one I would like you all to consider. Well, there's two things I'd like you to consider as we finish off. The first thing is I'd like you to sit down and think about the wealthy people that you do know. What are they like? Do you like what they've become? And the second thing I want you to think about today, guys, is we have, or Ash has binned an awful lot of some of the staff because of what was going on in the background, which I'm sure we will find out at some point. But he's had to take on new people. Now, we all know what's gone on from the point of view that we've opened, it's closed, and at some point it's going to reopen. Now, tell me, why would all of these new employees go to a company that is closed and is not yet reopened? Something in the background is going on that you and I should be excited about. And I think that is an important thing that you need to consider, because most of the guys that we've come across are asking why, when, what, instead of, hold on a second, just think about this for a moment. Colin's mentioned this before. 90% of companies that get to the stage that we've been at have closed because they've not been able to move forward. And yet what we're doing and what Ash has been able to do is take on new staff, and these new staff see something that most of you people out there do not see, and that's a shame. So thank you for joining us today. I'm very pleased that you both managed to join me. Thank you, Red. Thank you, Jeanne. And thank you, everybody that's come and listened in to us waffle again. We shall see you next Tuesday. We're very good at waffling, as you probably gathered. Well, I am. Red is to the point, and so is Jeanne. But anyway, enjoy your evening, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see you next Tuesday. Thank you.